You live local, but do you eat local, shop local, travel local? Well, join me and I'll show you how to join the local movement. You'll discover wonderful Kentucky and Tennessee-made products and travel-worthy destinations throughout our region right outside your back door. Not only will you get an inside look at how things are made, but you'll get to take part in virtual day trips, uncovering the people, products, and places that make our region so wonderfully unique. Support the local movement and go local with me, the local traveler.
On this week's episode of The Local Traveler, I check into historic Boone Tavern Hotel in Berea, Kentucky, where I get cooking with acclaimed chef Jeffrey Newman. Chef Newman gives me an exclusive first look at a brand new dish that is soon to be on the menu. Next stop, Kenny's Farmhouse Cheese in Austin, Kentucky. I put on my gloves and get my hands immersed in the fine art of gourmet cheese making. Using old-world handmade techniques yields an exceptional product, and you know I can't leave without a tasting. Next stop, we head over at the oldest continuously operating distillery in America. Buffalo Trace in Frankfort has won more awards than any other distillery in the world. We got the pleasure of filling and dumping barrels, which required some brawn and precision, but was still a barrel of fun. Of course, no trip to Buffalo Trace would be complete without a tasting.
Many people know how difficult it can be to host a large group in your home. But what if one summer you were asked to host 300 people? No one knew this better than Nellie Frost, wife of Berea College president William Frost. As the reputation of their college grew, so did the number of people coming to visit wanting lodging and meals in their home. And now, over a century later, guests from all over the world can enjoy this hotel named after Daniel Boone. Boone Tavern is on the Registry of Historic Places, and from what I understand, this hotel has a lot to offer. Let's go check in.
Boone Tavern's 25 original guest rooms have grown to 63 and include modern amenities. You get all the up-to-date comforts without infringing on the historic beauty of the hotel. Boone Tavern has been embracing the Go Local movement for the last 100 years by featuring guest rooms that showcase handcrafted cherry, oak, and pine furniture made by Berea College student crafts. The hotel also embraces the call to go green. Their commitment to clean and sustainable living has given them the distinction of the first and only LEED certified hotel in Kentucky. Even the bathroom amenities are environmentally kind. They are made with all natural ingredients and packaged in eco-friendly materials. Much of the acclaim Boone Tavern receives is due to the culinary excellence of executive chef Jeff Newman. Not only does he whip up scrumptious Southern dishes with a new American style, but he even has his own garden right on the property. Chef Jeff Newman is deeply committed to using local products and is an avid supporter of our local farmers.
Chef Jeff Newman, I am so excited to be here with this man. I have heard wonderful things about your culinary skills.
Well, good.
So I'm hoping you can impart to me, a total beginner, some cooking tips here.
Sure. Well, it's my pleasure to have you all today. Just want to welcome you to our kitchen. We're going to cook a few things for you today. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay. I've actually got a pork chop already in my nice cast iron pan here. What we've done with this pork chop is we've brined it in sweet tea. You want to impart some of that sweet tea flavor.
Right.
I'm going to have 2 pans going here for the rest of the dish.
Whoops, it wasn't me.
It wasn't, I'll tell you that much. So the accompaniments for this pork chop today are going to be cornmeal spätzle, which is kind of a German, Austrian, Eastern European side dish.
Yes.
So Anyways, here's my Spätzle mix, and we'll pour a little bit of this in here, and then we'll use the spatula to kind of push it through. So we push all that through, and that just takes a minute, literally.
Okay.
And while that's going, I've got 2 pans, both of them are pretty hot. You can see this one's smoking, and we'll do a little bit of olive oil, and in with our mushrooms. So I've got the chanterelles, and as soon as these go in the pan, what I'd like to do is add a little bit of salt. Our Spätzle's about done. You want to take a look at that?
Yes.
And see how they float up? We've got our mushrooms. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more oil. Don't be afraid.
You can tell you've been doing this a while because you got some really good wrist action there.
Yeah, you learn that really quick.
Exactly.
So you got to season everything. And this is kosher salt and freshly ground pepper. We grind it in small batches. What I'm going to throw in here now is some kale. This just curly kale, comes locally once again. And I'm going to add just a little pinch of garlic in here for some extra flavor. And we'll kind of toss this up a little bit. Let that garlic cook a little bit.
Now I know you guys rotate your menu regularly.
Yes.
Is this something that is a standard on the menu? Is this something that's new that's going to be on the menu?
This is something that by the time that we get the show aired will be on the menu.
Great.
So this is kind of like your mid to late summer type stuff.
Right.
So we'll cut this off here. I believe that the Spätzle is ready, and I believe the pork chop's probably about ready.
Oh, that looks so good. It smells wonderful.
Yeah, you get that little bit of sweetness and that little bit of smoke. All right, so we're ready to plate up here.
Okay.
We've got our Spätzle, then we've got our kale and mushrooms. So we'll do just a little mound of this. And then we've got our beautiful pork chop.
Man, that looks good.
And then we got our little pizza relish.
What do you call this dish?
This is sweet tea marinated pork chop. All right, well, I think the next thing to do is for you to have a little taste. Make sure I did a good job.
Okay, I'm excited. I'll tell you at home if it's good. It looks wonderful. I have to kind of move it around a little bit.
This is Stonecross Farm pork, so
okay.
Super, super high quality heritage pork.
All right, I'm going to try to get some peaches, some kale and mushrooms, and it's always that matter of like making that perfect bite.
Perfect bite.
Wow, that is so good. There's such a complexity of flavors happening. This is
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Good, glad you enjoy it.
This is really good.
We like to make simple food, make it taste great, so we're really happy that you enjoy it.
Can you come to my house sometime? And
yeah, I charge a lot, but you know, it's...
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you all for being here today. It was our pleasure.
There's no shortage of delicious menu items at Boone Tavern Restaurant. You'll find everything from salads and unique sandwiches to signature items such as chicken flakes in a bird's nest and the beloved spoon bread. But whatever you choose, you won't be disappointed. The Berea College Student Crafts Program not only handcrafts the furniture in Boone Tavern, but the gift shop also displays and sells many of the students' traditional crafts. Everything from woodworking, ceramics, jewelry, and broom making. You can also find many uniquely wonderful Kentucky Proud products as well. If you decide to add Boone Tavern to your local travels, you will be able to add your name to their very prominent guest list. Make sure and check out the wall of some of the hotel's most notable visitors.
What a day we've had here today at Boone Tavern. My tummy is full of spoon bread, and I don't think I can take in any more beauty of the surroundings. I think this local traveler needs a nap. Excuse me, can I get a room? I've always imagined taking a trip to Europe and coming back tanned and well-fed. But Kenny Mattingly took a trip to Europe, and he came back with an idea that changed this unassuming dairy farm into one of the premier makers of gourmet cheeses. No way, you say? Oh, yes way. Let's go get our cheese on.
Cheese is not just a job to Kenny, it's become his passion. He loves to share his favorite wine and cheese pairings or the best recipes they've heard of for their products. Using handmade techniques, Kenny began by making gouda from the farm's freshest milk. 4,000 pounds of cheese came from this farm that first year. That's 2 tons of gouda. Today, Kenny's Farmhouse cheese makes nearly every kind of cheese you could name. 70,000 pounds of it, in fact. Restaurants as far away as New York and Los Angeles order cheese directly from Kenny.
Well, I'm here with Ken Mattingly, and he is the CEO and the master cheesemaker, and really the namesake for his company, Kenny's Farmhouse Cheese. And we're so happy to come in and kind of learn about this cheese that many people may not know about just because they're used to kind of the standard cheese, but you really, it's an artisan cheese, right?
I think so. We have our hands in it a lot if that's what makes it artisan, but no, we've started out small batch, we've continued to make it small batch, and just the fact that the milk's coming from our cows makes it unique, and it's raw milk and handmade or artisan, I think puts it in a niche, yeah.
Well, and you're combining kind of interesting flavors, and I know you have something with Heine Brothers Coffee.
Yeah, we call this cheese Block of Joe.
Right.
And we have a rep or a marketer in Louisville, and he knows the folks at Heine Brothers, and we thought it'd be unique. We were making a coffee cheese at one other point, and I gave up on it, and so we kind of redid the recipe and used the locally roasted coffee.
Right.
And it's real popular. We do it seasonally around Christmas and in the fall.
Well, you have so many varieties. We get to maybe sample a few of these, I think.
Okay.
I'm excited because the Cup of Joe is so different. I've never heard of a coffee cheese.
Uh-huh. You want to try some?
Yes, that'd be great.
Let me know what you think, honestly.
Oh, you can definitely smell the coffee, which is great. Wow, that's really good. I'm going to just pocket this.
Yeah, there you go. What we have out here, too, is some of our signature cheeses.
Okay.
The St. Jerome, Jerome's my dad's middle name, and
Okay.
so this is kind of in honor of him. Some people say it tastes like a cheddar Swiss combination, but it's one of my favorites, so I'll have a piece.
All right. I'll join you.
This is about 7 months old.
Oh, that's really good.
Creamy, but got a little bite to it.
It has the bite, which is great, but it's not so much bite that you don't feel like you could sit down and eat. Some of them are so potent that you kind of almost have to have it with other things. But this really is something that you could just eat on its own, and it still gives you that same punch, but it's mild.
And then Rose, named after my mom, Mary Rose.
Okay.
This is a cheese we add extra cream to. It's actually a blue cheese, excuse me, but it's not pierced. It's just, we just let the molds kind of grow on the rind.
Oh, okay.
Somebody says training rules for blue cheese.
Really good. Again, it's so nice because a lot of blue cheese, I would feel like I wouldn't be able to just eat a piece of it, but you really can. It's subtle enough that you can really sit down and eat a piece of it just on its own. Yeah.
Another cheese that we add extra cream to is the Nina, which is named after my mother-in-law. That was her nickname.
Okay.
The kids called her.
Wow, I really like this. I mean, they're all good, but this one, I'm trying to decide if it's almost got to me, there's a tiny bit of sweetness there. You know, it's like caramelly or something. I don't know.
Yes.
Well, tell me a little bit. We're gonna go back and we're gonna do some cheese making. So I guess I'm gonna get my hands in some curds and we're gonna maybe salt some brie. Is that right?
We have to salt some cheddar. Salt the brie, yeah, and then we're gonna curd some or mill some cheddar. And take it onto just be careful you don't get in my way.
Okay, I will. I've got my boots on. I'll get my apron, and we'll get in there. And then before I leave, I've got to purchase some things, because boy, oh boy, I found some new favorites here.
Oh, appreciate it. Thank you for your interest.
Thank you.
The raw milk that is used is seriously fresh. It is milked straight from their cows just outside the cheese making room and piped right into a large stainless steel vat. Once inside, the unprocessed milk is constantly stirred and heated. It is so fresh that no pasteurization is necessary.
On the table here is some brie we made yesterday, which is a soft ripened cheese. It's got the white mold that shows up about a week later. So I salted one side last night.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to turn this over.
Okay.
We'll turn all these over, and then we'll add some salt to the other side.
So you actually, there's some pipes I see behind you, and I understand that's milk that's just good, fresh, I mean, literally milked right from the cow.
Right.
Just piped right in here, right into the cheese. So there's no Pasco, there's no collect $200. It's just...
Yeah, the cows are milked about 30 feet away.
That's amazing.
And we've always used our own fresh raw milk on our farm for 36 years. So we really care about, you know, how the quality of our milk and how we clean the cows and how healthy they are. And so I think that's really been beneficial to us when we decided to get into cheese making.
Often, this old world process is abandoned in today's industrial cheesemaking. But many of Kenny's customers are elated that he has kept this time-honored technique of artisan cheesemaking. Not only because it yields an exceptional product, but also because some of his customers are lactose intolerant, and they are overjoyed to be able to eat cheese again. This is because his cheesemaking process preserves the natural and beneficial enzymes found in raw milk. These enzymes aid in the process of digesting lactose, as well as in the absorption of calcium. In addition to these health benefits, it also yields a richer depth of flavor. Kenny's Farmhouse Cheese is a family-owned business, and it is evident that everything that is done here is done with a loving attention to detail. They not only hand make the cheese, but they also hand cut and package each block or round of cheese. Come and see for yourself what people are raving about at their new cheese shop in Barron County, Kentucky. You can sample some of their heavenly cheeses and meet the guru of Gouda for yourself.
Welcome to the oldest distilling site in the U.S. This distillery is on the National Register of Historic Places and is located in Kentucky's state capital of Frankfort. Not quite sure where I am? Think ancient bison crossing on the banks of the Kentucky River.
That's right, I'm at Buffalo Trace Distillery. Although it's not always been called Buffalo Trace, records indicate that distilling started at this site as early as 1773. This family-owned company produces bourbon, rye, and vodka all on site. We are going to get a behind-the-scenes look at what Whiskey Magazine named 2010 Whiskey Visitor Attraction of the Year.
Okay, I'm with Shelly Young. She's the tour guide here at Buffalo Trace Distillery, and I'm so excited. You do something called a hard hat tour, is that right?
We do. We do a hard hat tour where we take people into the actual distillery. The buildings that are included in the hard hat tour were actually built under the direction of Colonel Albert Blanton, which the expansion of the distillery started after Prohibition, about 1934, and lasted till 1942. So the first thing he did was take the old Fire Copper distillery, the original distillery, and turned it into the boiler room. And from there on, he just expanded the rest of the distillery. So there's a lot of history back there in those buildings.
Well, I'm excited to go on the hard hat tour. I know we get to see some fermentation happening. We're going to see, I guess, some big vats being filled, or what is going to happen there?
I think I'm going to take you in through the cookers and let you get a look at those and our traveling grain hopper, and then we'll go over to the fermentation tanks. We have 10 fermentation tanks that are almost 93,000 gallons apiece.
Oh my goodness.
So those are extremely tall, and you'll see there's open grate floors, so you'll be able to look down and see exactly how high and how big those tanks are when we get there. They're the biggest ones in the industry, and our still is also the tallest, the biggest in the industry, and it's been there for quite a while. So we'll be up almost 4 stories in too when we see that. So that's where we're gonna go take a look over there.
Sounds good. with Patrick Klaus, who's the aging warehouse manager. And actually, we got to do some fun things today. We got to go and fill the barrels. Tell me a little bit kind of about that process.
Well, when we receive our barrels in, we are grading the barrels, and we want to make sure that those barrels are in good shape and they don't have any cracks or anything, so we're not losing any product out of those barrels. And then we will fill the barrels. Every morning we start early in the morning, about 7 o'clock. Usually takes us a couple hours, and we will fill about 380 barrels every day.
Wow. Well, so the bottles or the barrels get filled, and then they roll down, and then tell me about the kind of end. We kind of saw the beginning and the end process.
Okay.
We won't stand around for 13 years in the warehouse for the aging process, but the ending process was interesting too.
Once they're filled, we'll brand each barrel, and we will track the date of and then the mash bill, and we're tracking the size of the barrel. And from there, we will enter the barrels into the various warehouses. And the barrels will age them from anywhere from 3 to 23 years. My job as the aging warehouse manager is to try to optimize where we're putting those, and I'm trying to guess what we're going to be dumping at that point in time. So I'm trying to make it the best quality product as we're pulling it out.
Wow, who knew bourbon was so much work? I suppose all this hard work and attention to detail is what yields such an exceptional product. Now that the barrels have been emptied, it's time to fill the bottles. We're off to Blanton's hand bottling hall to learn how. The bourbons produced here have earned high marks in international spirit rating competitions. Buffalo Trace has earned more than 200 awards for its premium whiskeys. Most recently, Buffalo Trace Distillery made history in the industry, with being named both the first and second best whiskey in the world by notable whiskey reviewer Jim Murray. Looks like lead chemist Chris Fletcher is doing his job.
I'm here with Chris Fletcher, and he's the lead chemist here at Buffalo Trace Distillery. You have a fun job.
Very fun job.
Tell me a little bit about it.
Well, as a lead chemist here, obviously we do a lot of quality control work, and basically, my primary concern is the quality of the bourbon going in the bottle. And so it's our job here. We have a whole team in quality assurance that helps us make sure that we're matching the flavor profile that our consumers are expecting for all the different products that we make.
And I know in the front here of this section, that's where a lot of the chemistry is really taking place, where you're really measuring things and kind of it's kind of like business in front, party in the back.
Right.
Because in the back, this is kind of where all the tasting's happening.
That's right. This is where all the fun stuff happens, absolutely.
Well, I'm ready to get started. I guess we have the spittoons, right?
We do, that's
Which
right.
is good, because I could not finish this table and walk out of here, I don't think. So it's good that we're tasting but not actually ingesting.
That's right. So we'll jump right in. So first thing I do is start with our product reference, so we can start with the Eagle Rare.
Okay.
And I always give it a good swirl, just to kind of mix it up, get the aromatics working in there, and then a slight smell. Go ahead. Good barrel.
Yeah.
Right. Well, we do have a team of about 15 people that will come in and do this throughout the day. They work all throughout the plant, and basically as they come, the more you practice, the better you get.
Sure.
And once I feel like that maybe a new panelist will come in and get a couple of months under their belt.
Sure.
And they're really doing a good job of picking up on the differences that we expect for our different products.
Right.
Then if any one person out of that team of 15 comes in and thinks that the barrel doesn't necessarily meet the profile of our standard, they'll just turn the barrel sideways.
Oh, okay.
And then that lets me know that they found something a little bit different, a little bit off in that sample, and so that will not be dumped at this time. It'll stay in the warehouse, and then we'll revisit that barrel later on.
Okay, and it just takes one, or do you have checks and balances with that one?
It just takes one.
Wow.
Very, very strict. If any one person comes in, and it's very strict, but then again, it's really, really great because it's such a high quality standard that we have.
Yeah.
Different people are more sensitive to different things.
That's true, yeah.
Some people, pick up on some flavors better than others, so it's really good to have that level of quality control here.
Not only can you get international award-winning bourbon here, but you can also get a wide array of gift items for your favorite bourbon lover. They have shirts, hats, shot glasses, barbecue sauce, and much, much more. We even spotted some sweet-smelling candles that piqued our interest. We just may have to visit this company later on in the program.
We have had a great day that's been action-packed here at Buffalo Trace Distillery. We got to go on the hard hat tour, fill and dump barrels, bottle the bourbon, and even, a little quality control taste testing. You've got to add this to your local traveler must-see list.
Next week on The Local Traveler, our journey starts in Berea, Kentucky, where I learn how to weave a basket with local bark, and also embark on making copper cuff jewelry. I wear my local bracelet as a badge of jewelry making honor. It was a lot harder than it looks. Next, we pull into Clinton, Tennessee to get in touch with our Appalachian roots at the Museum of Appalachia. This living history museum has the proud distinction of being an affiliate of the Smithsonian Museum and maintains one of the largest folk art collections in the nation. When you visit, be sure to see the museum porch band. You may just get the opportunity to play spoons with the band. Next stop, we travel to Kentucky Down Under in Bowling Green for a chance to play the didgeridoo and a private sheep herding lesson. Not to mention the chance to pet a real live kangaroo. To learn more about the show, please visit us online at localtraveler.com.